Welcome to the special edition of the T Row Show. It's probably one of the best shows I think that we're going to have because of the simple fact that we have been claiming that there are two separate declarations of independence. And we're going to be able to prove it in this edition of two separate declarations of independence. We're going to that's how we're going to title this particular special edition. This is also going to blow away everybody's theories as to how this country was born, what happened, and everything else. Your minds are going to be changed tonight. The Anna crowd is going to be completely destroyed because their whole theory as to what happened back in the day is going to be blown out of the water. Okie dokie. So, we've been maintaining that back in 2011, 9, 10, 11, in those areas, in that span of time, that we had claimed the United States of America. We're talking about uppercase T. We have ample proof that we've done it, and we have ample proof that we operate under the Articles of Confederation. We have one part of that, of the history book, so it's 1976, under the Declaration of Interdependence, that we have been operating in parallel to the Constitution of the United States. There has been many people, including Donald Trump and many, many others, that have done their best to restore the Constitution of the United States. And to no avail, they have failed miserably. We're going to show you why tonight. Okay? Everything we've been claiming for the past 11 years is going to be proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. So let's get started. First of all, it was this government that brought back the states of the Union, right here. The government of the United States of America hereby reintroduces the existence of the states of the Union. That was done in August 9th, 2016, 5 years ago. Even though we had been a part of it for a long time, we decided to go ahead and bring it forward and introduce it to get people's heads used to the idea, okay, going back to the States of the Union. Reign of the Heavens Society Post is a newspaper. It is not an offshore corporation. It is not a corporation in any way. It is simply a friggin' newspaper that exists within the United States of America. And it has existed for a very long time. This was on June 30th, 1864. The following definition was introduced into the record of the District of Columbia. This is the link to the full page. It's kind of hard to read, so we quoted it. It further being enacted that wherever the word state is used in this act, that's lowercase s state, it shall be construed to include the territories and the District of Columbia, where such construction is necessary to carry out the provisions of this act, approved June 30th, 1864. So what they did was they extended the District of Columbia as a lowercase state. Okay, for everyone's information, that was when the definition of a state was altered. When the definition of a state was altered, the definition alteration was intended to obliterate the existence of the states of the Union, which is exactly what they tried to do. They said that the states of the Union were conquered, and the states of the Union were actually under the Articles of Confederation, the original 13 states that expanded forward, okay, as each state came on. Some may argue that the definition was compartmentalized to that particular act. However, that same definition has been standard operating procedure for the District of Columbia since that time. Okay, the city-state that committed said act was the city of Washington, D.C. The city of Washington, D.C. committed that act in the name of the District of Columbia. Since June 30th, 1864, Every document signed under the altered definition of a state is notwithstanding due to the fact that the District of Columbia was never defined as a state of the Union. Further, any and all agreements signed after June 30th, 1864 do not legally exist under the law of nations. Either version of history, and no matter what is believed since the Declaration of Independence, the altered definition of the state would be considered whether in the past, present, or future repugnant to the law of nations. The government of the United States of America has attempted 4 times to receive full recognition from the UPU, thereby allowing the government to correct the legal problems of the existence of the UPU. The government showed the purported leaders of the UPU the errors within the General Post-Union Treaty, signed in 1874. The UPU has had almost 3 years to wake up and realize it does not legally exist. Even though other countries signed the General Post-Union Treaty, one of the signatories was a fraud and therefore was dishonored the whole agreement. Dishonor cannot exist within commerce. Any act of dishonor within commerce is no act at all. That means, folks, that you can't steal the name the United States of America and operate it under a foreign canon law. It means you can't steal the term States of the Union and say, oh, we're going to go ahead and start putting our federation of states in, because they don't belong. They're 2 separate timelines. That would be a dishonor in commerce, is no act at all. Since the UPU does not legally exist, then the United Nations does not legally exist. Since the purported leaders of the UPU, that's the Universal Postal Union, folks. This is the UN stuff. You did not listen to the government. The UPU has rendered itself null and void as having any legal existence altogether. The General Post-Union Treaty never happened, and therefore the Universal Postal Union never happened, because all agreements were signed under an altered definition that was not authorized by the States of the Union. The government of the United States of America has managed to preserve the original Union and States of the Union, and has also managed to hold on to the General Post Office of 1775. It will be up to the States of the Union to decide the existence of the city of Washington, D.C., meaning that its dishonor of treason against the United States of America has yet to be determined as to its continued existence is serving the best interest of the States of the Union or not. It is noticed that by the government of the United States of America that it is its honor and privilege to hereby reintroduce, under the authority of the law of nations, the existence of the States of the Union to the world, and may its existence be prosperous and peaceful. May the States of the Union shine as the light of real freedom for all those who see and witness that it has been covered in darkness for a time. Yet its light as freedom shall never be extinguished by those that derive their power from fear and treachery. I want to show you what that actually happened there, but the States of the Union may for a time exist under the Articles of Confederation as amended August 5th. However, the government of the United States of America, under the authority of the law of nations, shall issue this order: that Constitutional Convention is hereby ordered to convene for the people to determine their own destiny. General information for the general public. New World Order null and voided itself and its own existence. Therefore, anyone with good reasoning, skills can determine that the end times are not here yet. It is time for the people to assemble. Remember, we started that first. And rebuild their structure. Otherwise, the government of the United States of America is here until self-determination is made. In other words, we're just going to remain the national government. Okay? We're going to prove tonight that we are, in fact, the real national government. We're going to prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. So declared, ordered, and introduced by the government of the United States of America under the authority of the law of nations on the 143rd day of the year of Yahweh 6018. That does not make us a cult. And 8/9/2016. Okay? And it was signed. So there you go. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what we're talking about with the UPU. Okay, folks, this is what was going on when everybody was asleep. All right, this whole country was asleep. Well, this is what we were doing. This was back in 2012. All right, Here's the United States of America. We were never a corporation or a company. Anybody that says that is a bold-faced liar and a fraud. We never had anything to do with Scotland. We were talking about the original Confederation of 1781 that was done in 1781 after the Revolutionary War. We claimed that, okay? Which means we're the original government. It has come to the attention of the Office of the Postmaster General for the United States of America that according to the archives and treaties and other international agreements of the United States of America, 1776 to 1949, compiled under the direction of Charles Bevins, legal advisor, Department of State, the United States of America was invited to sign an original treaty concerning the formation of the General Postal Union. It appears that the representative of the United States of America, that would be this right here, was not present to sign the treaty at the time. The Office of the Postmaster General for the United States of America, the one office I hold, by the way, right now, and I'll show you how I hold that, would like to introduce the Director General of the International Bureau, one Leonard William McLaughlin. This was the guy we had before, to change the Universal Postal Union of 1878. Now, everybody here knows there's a difference between this right here, the Confederacy, and the entity in the Constitution of the United States, which has a lowercase t in it right here. This is just lowercase. I just changed it a little bit. We're going to show you who changed it and who caused all this confusion in this country, okay? And why everybody can't, I only had one mistake in this, why everybody can't figure out what's going on. It's Joseph H. Beekfan, not Blackfan, so I messed up there. Either way, this was done in 2012. This was sent over to the UPU. They got very, very quiet. Okay, let me show you what they did. This was the wording of the UPU. This was online. All right, they invited the United States of America, which was in 1781. That's the name of this country, by the way. All right, now they went through the whole treaty, and what happened is they brought a representative for the United States of America, this was 1789, who wasn't even, it's Beekfan, not Blackfan. That was my fault. But that's the guy. He was a second-year law student, okay? He came in and signed this treaty. And when he did, first of all, the people under the Constitution of the United States of 1789 were not invited. The people under the United States of America was invited. So this guy was a third-party interloper to the UPU, which means the United States, in fact, in the United States of America, were never a part of the UPU, Universal Postal Union, and therefore were never a part of the Union or the United Nations, because most of these treaties and everything started at the post office. So nobody from the United States of America showed up, even though they were invited. And this guy showed up that was never invited and signed it, which makes it unlawful, which means it never happened. There was a fraud in commerce in the UPU treaty. So therefore, the United Nations was never legally created because it has zero territory. It doesn't have a post office. So what do? We actually came in and tried to fix it. We tried to show them, and these dipshits over at the UPU could not figure out what we were trying to get done. Okay, so if you're going to have your New World Order, we're going to actually help you fix it. And we went in there and tried to help them, and they turned us down. So you had your freaking chance, because we came in as a part of the United States of America, because we had the metes and bounds and seaward boundaries of it. And we sent Leonard William, and he went ahead and signed it September 9th, 2012. And we sent this back to the UPU. They never acknowledged it. So these dipshits didn't even realize what we were telling them, and they completely destroyed their own United Nations when we gave them a chance to fix it. So by choice, there's no UN. It doesn't exist because of this particular treaty here. They never acknowledged it. Here's this guy again. Okay? It's a beak fan or black fan. I can't remember. I think we made a mistake here. It's beak fan. But there you go, right there. Okay, that's what we were talking about. So what we did was, I think it was 4 years later, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 4 years later. And we signed it here too, by the way, in both places. 4 years later, we went ahead and said, okay, we're going to go ahead and do the States of the Union. This is the instrument, which is what is needed, of adherence and ratification. We did that, and we have changed this seal for now. So this is, in fact, our document, and we have changed the seals around a little bit. I'll show you some of those seals. And it was notarized and the whole deal. Okay? So we had fixed all this stuff, and they turned around and just ignored it. So we said, okay. By the way, we still have this flag here. This is our government flag right there. The one without that seal is the national flag. Just letting you guys know. All right. So that explains why that is. So that tells everyone that we were here first. We have first in time, first in right, as far as the government's concerned. And myself, Tom, and all the other general postmasters have first in time to the United States of America, which means that when we set up the national government and we started delivering persons, that was completely and utterly lawful and legal and by the law of nations. Read it and weep. Whether you like it or not, that's the way it is. Okay. Now I'm going to introduce you to a feller that you guys are not going to like after tonight. This is who Alan Weishaupt is. Now, who he is he was born 6 February 1748 and died in 1830. Okay, so he was here during the Revolutionary War, the signing of the Declaration of Independence, all that stuff. Okay, now, professor of civil law and later canon law, the founder of Illuminati, a secret society. I know this is Wikipedia, but it's absolutely 100% true. Go look at other things. He did start the Illuminati. This is the guy that like people like John Kerry admire. They love this guy, Alan Weishaupt. And there are many others in the US right now that love this guy. He was a part and did start the Illuminati, a secret society. They called them Illuminati back then, but today they call them communists. Even though there's a part of them that's still called Illuminati. Now you can go through this if you want. At the time, however, there was no end of making game of and abuse secret societies. Abusing I plan to make use of this human foible for a real and worthy goal for the benefit of the people and blah, 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 blah. All right. He founded the Illuminati, the Electorate of Bavaria. He adopted the name of Brother Spartacus within the order. Even encyclopedia references vary on the goal of the order, such as New Advent, saying the order was not egalitarian or democratic internally, but sought to promote the doctrines of equality and freedom throughout society, while others, such as Collier's, have said the aim was to combat religion and foster rationalism in its place. Ever since it has begun, there has been all kinds of controversy. It's constant. Weishaupt was initiated into the Masonic Lodge right here at Munich in 1777. His project of illumination, enlightening, and understanding by the Sun of Reason, that's SUN, which will dispel the clouds of superstition and prejudice, was an unwelcome reform. Okay. Now, that being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with what you guys are familiar with. And that would be the Declaration of Independence. Then I'm going to show you some other things that we've done to prove to everyone that we are, in fact, the government of the United States of America, a federal um, republic under a confederation as of right now, eventually to be moved into a charter of the American continent. Okay, and that's been our plan for a while. Okay. Here is the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. Folks, you all know this. There are certain parties that are liars and frauds in this country that are claiming that they have a constitution that reads the United States of America, lowercase u. That is an absolute fraud. The reason why is because every one of the people that signed this document died before they could write a constitution. That's a fact. They didn't have enough people by the time it was done to write a constitution under this, so it was carried on through. And I'll show you what I mean by carried on through. Okay, now if you go down to the bottom here, you'll see where they got this entity. Now that was not the name of the country, or they tried to name it that name of the country, but I don't think they ever really succeeded. Okie doke. All right. Now they're talking about the free and independent states, the state of Great Britain, all this other kind of hoo-ha. Supreme judges of the world, the rectitude of our intentions, do in the name and by the authority of good people of these colonies solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are in right of ought to be free and independent states, that they absolve from all allegiance from the British crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is ought to be totally dissolved, and that free and independent states, they have full power to levy war, conduct peace, contract alliances, and all that fun stuff. Okay. Hold on one second. Okay, so when you see we therefore the representatives of the United States of America, you'll notice there is a lowercase u here and a lowercase t, but there is no the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. So what should have been done is this was the name of the country in the beginning, the 13 United States of America. That was the name. Then they changed it right in the middle of this declaration, which we had to fix. And when they did that, they broke chain of title right here. And then they said, oh, of the United States of America right here. They didn't put the 13 United States of America. And when they did that, they changed the name of the country again. Because in the Articles of Confederation, it went to the United States of America. That's uppercase U, uppercase T. And they didn't connect all three of them, which we did, which is what we fixed back in 2012. So, that being said, folks, get ready, because you're about to see some things you've never seen before in your entire life. I've been waiting for this for a long time. We have maintained, I just showed you the Declaration of Independence that everybody's used to. The 13 United States of America and blah, 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 blah. Okay? We've always maintained that there are two Declarations of Independence, two of them. One was under the 13 states, and one was under Allen Weishaupt. These guys and the Illuminati did not want to give up this country as being independent. They were still loyal to the crown. So just like what's happened today, when we came in and claimed the original government and started moving forward with it, once we had got something in, this fraud and liar up in Alaska comes in and tries to steal it from us and bring it back under the crown and everybody that's a part of it. She twists everything and lied about everything to bring it back under the crown. Now, what do we mean by under the crown? This came from the National Archives. I want to show you one thing here. You see this crown copyright right here on the left? A guy named Eric found this. I don't know where he got it, but they found this. Okay. Now, here is the Declaration of Independence that you have never seen before. Now, I don't know if you're seeing this or not, but I want to be very careful to show you this. You've never seen this before. Boom, boom, boom. Her Majesty. It's got the crown seal on it. That is the second declaration. It's almost word for word. That was done under Alan Weishaupt, the guy who created the Illuminati and the Great Seal for the United States. Y'all get that now? That was the 1789 Constitution. This is why there were not 74 delegates in there. The delegates back then, under the Articles of Confederation, figured out what was going on and never showed up to any convention because they knew it was a fraud. They knew the crown was up to something. So they didn't show up. So 39 men signed that Constitution that were in office at the time under the Articles of Confederation, but they were all traitors. All of them were traitors to this country. Okay, I'm going to leave a copy of this under the now look at this, the United States of America. Looky here. Okay, look at the name of the country. You guys are calling it a corporation? No, it's a crown, folks. You're misinterpreting it. The representatives of the United States of America, right there. That's where you have the all cap thing and all that. So, was there a corporation created in 1868? No, it's always been there. We told people that from the beginning, that it's always been there. Always been there. The same entity over and over and over again. Lowercase t, United States of America. That's in the 1783 Treaty of Paris. Tom, do you have a copy of that?
The Treaty of Paris? Yeah, let me bring it up.
All right. So, attentions and to our British brethren, and we have warned them time to time, and blah, 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 blah. It's almost word for word. Okay? But the 13 states didn't sign it. John Hancock did as president, signed by order and in behalf of the Congress. Which Congress? There were two, folks. There were two separate Congresses. And these guys were all loyal to the crown. Every single one. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready. Do you want me to share it?
Please.
Okay. I always love doing this with a British accent, if you don't mind.
No, don't do that, please.
Come on. All right. As you can see in this document, it says the Arch Treasurer and Prince Elector of the Holy Roman Empire, etc., and of the United States of America. And if you notice, it says the Crown of Great Britain, United States, and all of the signers were esquires. David Hartley, Esquire, John Adams, Esquire, Benjamin Franklin, Esquire, and John Jay, Esquire. And again, they keep saying the same thing, the United States of America. They already had this in process, and that is where that comes from, because they didn't use a capital letter T.
So the crown comes in. Let's come up to today. The crown comes in around 2014 and starts attacking me personally through their agent and their liar and their fraud, Anna von Reitz, because she's subject to the Pope. She's a private counsel. Okay, and we have proof of that. We've shown that before. And they start trying to dismantle everything, come up with, I think every 6 months came up with a brand new process of how to get out of that system. when every single one of them brought them right back to what? A federation of states. Our lawful federation of states. We're going to our lawful federation of states. Y'all want to know what a federation of states is? Okay, this is a federation of states. All right, now, this is what they did. A federation, also known as a federal state, is a political entity characterized by a union of partially self-governing provinces, states, or other regions under a central federal government. Federalism. You already have that, folks. Why do you need somebody up a fraud and a liar up in Alaska to bring you back under something you're trying to get away from? Does that make any sense to anybody here? Why would you talk to somebody and tell them, or they're gonna do this? You fill out some kind of stupid paperwork that doesn't mean a thing under some of the crap like this, and brings you back where? Right back under the crown. You're just going around in a big circle. And this same fraud and liar claims to be a fiduciary for the United States of America, when in fact we were there first, and we had fixed it up to where we were going to bring your person, which we're still doing. We bring your person offshore and out of the territories of from under the crown, the United States, and put them back into the states of the Union. And what does she do? She takes your person and puts it back in, or actually gets you to sign documents that gives them consent for you to be under the crown. We're talking about the city of London, by the way, and the Pope and all that. 3 city-state empire. And that's why we say we don't know if we can get you out, because in that paperwork, you say that you have the competency to sign contracts and documents. Now, what is the crown? It's the New World Order. Rothschild, Rockefeller, devil worshippers. New World Order. From where? Alan Weishaupt, who started what? The Illuminati. Who's imposing the Illuminati? New World Order. The Illuminati is imposing that through its movie stars and all that, with their one eye crap and all that shit they do on television. All their devil worshiping, all their adrenochrome, and you folks, by following that liar and that fraud, are being brought right down and back into the Illuminati and the New World Order. We've seen it in the paperwork. We know exactly what we're talking about. That liar and fraud is not a fiduciary for the United States of America. That is a fraud on its face. The seal that's being used is an Illuminati seal. It's the Illuminati seal of the United States under the crown. It is not claimed by some rapist or any of that nature. That is a complete fraud and a lie. We are the government of the United States of America. Okay? We're the lawful government here, and we have ties to the states of the Union. And that is the way it is, whether anybody likes it or not. Okay? Here it is. It wasn't signed by the 13 states, was it? Signed by one man. And there you go. There's the seal. This is the one that we fixed. Okay? How did we fix it? Here's the Articles of Confederation, 1781. This was back in 2011, as amended November 14, 2011, 12, 213, and this is the last time, 215. We kept restructuring it over and over, and we weren't really making a big stink about it, but we kept restructuring it so that it worked for everybody, and that the states could have their own their independence, but they could also be a part of the Union and all this other stuff. Then we went back and got 1774 Union and brought that forward to the present time. We are giving the United States a notice right now that this government here is in fact the national government for the states of the Union, and you need to back off your freaking agent up there in Alaska, and everybody else that comes in and tries to usurp this government and its position so that we can have peace and we can reestablish law and order here. You are all in our way. And every crime that happens, every blood that's spilt is on your shoulders at this moment. This is right here. The style for this national government shall be the United States of America, as amended from the 13 United States of America and the United States of America as amended. So you guys are trying to claim this over among that fraud that you're following, and we had it first. We claimed this already a long time ago. Okay? So anybody claiming that there's a constitution under that, that's this one right here. The Articles of Confederation. Okay? And it's also in the footer. It's right there. This is a 47-page document. This is all of the notes that we took, all of the different, here's all the signatures. Let me see what we got here. Let me see that signature page. There's the signature page. Okay, some of these people have been removed. Actually, no, I think this is accurate. Then we had our own there. We recorded it, and it was blessed by the temple. And this was the other one that we did, Articles of Confederation. Remember the different seals? It was a progression. We didn't expect them to come in and just start blatantly freaking stealing from us. We didn't expect that. But then again, that's how low thieves go. Liars and frauds. They'll steal stuff just to screw it up. So they can be what they call a hero to the country. We're saving the country. No, what you're doing is you're trying to bring the country back under the crown. And that's exactly what you're doing. You liar and you fraud. You're a liar and a fraud. We're talking about Anna, folks. She's a liar and a fraud. This was one of the things we did from, and we still had this in 2013. Same thing. You see, folks, we knew this from a long time ago. We were 10 years ahead of everyone and still are. There's a lot of stuff that we've done and changed. I'm going to keep going with this. We had oaths of office and all this stuff. We had, we used to be called the Confederation Party, but we were dealing with so we had to change it to the North American National Party, because when we said it was the Confederation Party, they thought the Confederacy 1868, we were trying to bring back the Civil War Confederacy. So we had to change it. Remember that, Tom?
Yeah, they were thinking we were bringing back slavery and everything. It's like, oh my God, white supremacists. You know, it's like,
yeah, it was ridiculous. Certified copy, and there's for lack of reciprocity, it was article last paragraph page is hereby removed. Here's all our notes and what we removed and what we didn't remove. Okay, and this is directly from the Articles of Confederation, the original one done in 1781. It was finished in 1781 after the Revolutionary War. And today's House of Representatives had a lot to do with this right here. See, our General Postmaster Council is the most popular entity we have on LinkedIn right now. I don't know how many friends and members it's got. It's all kinds of stuff because we're the ones that started it.
I think it's like 8,000 or something.
It's a little more than that now, I think. Yeah, it's been a while. It's getting close to 10. So there you go. It was all done legally, lawfully, the whole deal. And what we do now is this. You're not joining this national government unless you're a general postmaster. We did that for a purpose. That was so each state could have its own sovereignty, turn it back into a federal republic, because that's what it is. Okay? Um, a federal republic is when all the states come together and they have and retain their own independence, but they're all brought together in a confederacy and or a union. Okay, so we don't need a national government that has a vote from the general population, because that would interfere with the state's votes. What we do is we deliver your person back on shore out of the Illuminati's hands. So if you come here and you do a resident declaration, you're on your way of that person getting out from under the Illuminati and the crown. If you leave here and go over to the fraud and the liar, you're going right back in. And they can't start a national government. The crown has no right to do that whatsoever over here. Okay, did I cover everything?
I'd like to bring up Russell J. Gould and Life Force Kim and Tank. They're frauds also.
Yep, I would imagine they are. Now over here, here's where in the United Nations and the Crown recognizes our jurisdiction and all of the people that have come through here and that have not dishonored themselves by attacking this government or attacking the union or anything of that nature, or attacking office holders rather than going and settling in their own freaking states. What we have is a bunch of loafers that like to stick around here and attack office holders and this government. That's why their asses are kicked out. Say, you're out of here. We can't have you attacking us. Okay? When you do that, that's called sedition, treason. So rather than hang your ass, we kick you back out over to where? The crown. You obviously haven't learned your lesson. You really didn't want to be free. Okay? Right here, when they did the Declaration of Interdependence, the United Nations did. Okay? It's 1976. The Interdependence Assemblies, their concluding consultation and convocation, that's a witchery term. Convocation is a witchery term, will provide the initial 1976 program agenda for bicentennial era paralleling, this is why we keep saying this over and over again, the 13 years matching the period between 1776 and the final adoption of the U.S. Constitution of 1789. It was the Crown and the Arch Treasurer and all them that adopted it through their Declaration of Independence that looked so similar to ours, which means somebody in that room, when they were signing the Declaration for the 13 United States of America, someone in that room was under the crown, and they stole that and went ahead and wrote another one for the crown itself over here and made it appear as if it was the original. And they finally succeeded to make it appear as if it was the original in 1789. Because they came out, they lied and said, you got a republic, when in fact you had an aristocratic republic where all the power was in the hands of the Senate, not the people. And they had done their best to disband the Articles of Confederation and the original government, national government. And that didn't work because they put a little thing in there that said that if the United States in Congress assembled is not convened, that all is the power is in the hands of the committee. Okay. And that committee sat there dormant until 2009, when the meets and bounds and seaward boundaries were claimed around this country that had not been done before under the name the United States of America, which, by the way, was divine intervention, because what was being done was done on accident. Wasn't even done on purpose. And it was done correctly. Then the General Post Office was claimed, and all of the original. This is when I was working with the House of Representatives, the Navy, and the Post Office to restore this country. Way before that liar and fraud that calls herself a judge in Alaska, when she's not a judge at all. Y'all saw it in the what was it, 226? That's right. It'd be a 226 broadcast. Y'all saw it in there. She's a liar and a fraud. If you believe her now, you're just a freaking idiot. And nobody's going to listen to you anyways. And by the way, folks, if you're a grown man, please don't go into court and tell them I'm sovereign because I signed a baby deed. You know how stupid that sounds? They're going to laugh you. I mean, I would be Boston laughing if I was in a courtroom.
Didn't they label you as a terrorist?
Yeah, they label you as a terrorist. And then you go to Anna and she doesn't listen to you. She hauls ass, leaves you, doesn't answer any of your questions, and you're on your own. And guess what you guys do? You all end up over here. Am I right, Tom?
Yes, they do. And then they start telling us how to do things.
Yeah. They all end up over here trying to get us to help them out of the mess that they put themselves into. And then we've got some bad news for them when that happens. The government of the United States of America is, in fact, the national government of this country. Anything else is under the crown. Anything else is under the crown, and it's a fake. We've been doing this a long time, folks, at great expense of our own and at our own risk and peril. Our lives have been risks. I've had, I don't know how many death threats from judges and all kinds of stuff. Okay. Prosecutors, cops. Those are crown cops, basically. I call them banker crown cops. You have regular cops, good people. And then you have crown cops. And those guys, when they come around, it'll feel like death just came over to you because the really, really cold feeling will come into your heart and it will strike you in as fear. Those guys, don't trust them. They're of the crown. The rest of them that come up to you and you feel normal, have a warm feeling in your heart, those are the good cops. They're on your side. They may be ignorant to what's really going on, but they're on your side. Okay? So now we have the two separate declarations of independence, and we have two separate timelines, which is what we've been talking about before. That started with those two declarations. One timeline went one way, the other timeline went the other. That's why I hold the office of the Postmaster General, because Ebenezer Hazard died without a successor. So it was voted in by the Assembly to go ahead and just place me in that office. I'm sure you were around, right, Tom? Were you around that when that happened or no?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Yep.
And it was done there. And they said, well, you're the one that originally got the claim, so why don't we just, you're the one that deserves it. You pretty much know what you're doing. I said, okay, I'll take it. So every time this liar and this fraud comes up, we're going to be notifying the Crown of how much liability they have. And you know how nice and wonderful and forgiving they are, right? Don't you know how Rothschild, the devil worshiper, how forgiving he is?
Oh, he's
for liability?
Just a wonderful guy. Wonderful guy. I want to leave you with one more vision as well. Can I share the screen for a second?
Sure.
Don't ever forget this either. When Cornwallis handed over his sword and got it all done, he said, a holy war will now begin on America. And when it is ended, America will supposedly be the citadel of freedom, but her millions will only be loyal subjects to the crown. General Cornwallis. Now we know why he said that.
At that time, when he handed that over, they were unaware of the two separate declarations of independence. The Allen Weishaupt and the Illuminati. Remember, they were secret societies. They didn't have internet back then. They didn't even have phones. So this was all going on behind closed doors. And by the will of the Most High, this ends up in my lap today. I wasn't even looking for it. And I'm talking about the Declaration of Independence that was stamped by the Crown and is copyrighted by the Crown. We're talking about the City of London now. The City of London is over 2,000 years old. That's the Crown we're talking about. We're not talking about Queen Elizabeth douchebag over there that's allowing her country to be taken over by Muslims and Islam. We're talking about the Crown, the one connected to the Vatican. And your liar and fraud up there is connected to the Vatican. So there you go. You're being brought in as loyal subjects to the Crown because we've seen the paperwork, and that's exactly what that's saying. It's just encoded, and we know the codes. We know how we figured out their code is what we did. How things are spelled and how they do it.
Let me guess. Trump can't bring back a republic that never was unless he comes through this government.
That's
to
right.
Sign a social compact.
That's correct. He cannot bring it back. No. The Crown is fighting him, folks. That's not the deep state. There's no such thing. They're all Crown subjects that are fighting him. He has no right doing what he's doing. The people here never had one until now, a government. We've been in existence since 2000. It started in 2000, restarted in 2009. That's the only government that's on your side. We have to vet you, make sure you're not a freaking Crown agent. We got to do all kinds of things because we don't know we don't know who's who over here. How many times have we, been beat up over here? People coming in and then taking off and lying about everything we do, lying consistently, constantly lying and throwing accusations out there. When guess what? None of them created their own assembly. None of them tried to settle their state. None of them tried to do anything but sit on their ass and get taken care of. Well, if they wanted that, they need to be under the Crown. Go join the Democratic Party. You'll get all kinds of handouts. All you got to do is vote Democrat. That's it. If that's what you want, go there. Why waste your time, right? Okay. So there you go, folks. It's real clear. Hold on one second. All right. So what we got to do is we got to get people educated. We've got to get them to understand that there are two timelines. We're on the other timeline. We're in parallel with the Crown. We're on the other timeline over here. Have been since the beginning. We've claimed that there are two declarations of independence. Now we've got proof. And now we have proof of who we are, what's going on, and we want people to stop screwing with us. We don't have time for this. This just does not cause us stress. You have no right to attack government. This government here has adopted Romans 13. You have zero right to attack this government. If we tell you to do something, it's for your own good. We have your best interest at heart. We have no reason to hurt you. None whatsoever. And most of the time, we leave people alone. We're just doing our job, which is to get you delivered through. You need to listen to our registrar. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's been doing that job for a long time. And when she tells you she needs a certain document, it's not to do anything other than to help you. This whole system was designed to help you. This government is designed to get you back to your Father in heaven, to push you back, not to push you under a devil worshiping system or a mark of the beast system. We are one of the last governments in the world that is formed under a federal republic. We're one of the last ones, if not the last one. You have this one chance to make your decision on whether you want the mark of the beast or not. Over here is not. Over there is take the mark. Under the crown. Y'all understand that? It's under, over here means no mark. That's why we said a couple of T-rows ago, we're not going to really mess with the people over there anymore, because once the fraud and the liar in Alaska, once they figure out what that fraud and that liar has done to them, which is bring them back into contract with the New World Order, which brings them into contract with the devil himself, they'll take care of her sorry ass. And I promise you, we don't have baby deeds over here. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. All right, folks. So listen to us. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. We don't publish derogatory comments. We just delete them. I'm telling you straight up, we delete them. We don't have to hear it. We don't have to listen to it. We're doing this out of our own pockets. This is being done from our own expense. Nobody else's. We're not getting grants from anyone. We have our own money, but since so many people are asleep under the crown, they can't figure out that that's legal tender, that's lawful money, and they can use it. It's their national money. What's it backed by? Oh, I don't know. Your country? Hello? And all the minerals in it? Why they ask those stupid questions, I don't know. But this is much bigger than those people that ask those questions. Anything else that we need to deal with, Tom?
I think that pretty much covers it.
Okay.
Man, they just got to figure it out for themselves.
We generally get good people. We do. We'll get one very evil or someone who is just wanting to do bad things. I think one pretty much out of 100 or maybe 200. And we deal with them fairly quickly now. We don't wait 6 months and give them a chance and all that crap anymore. It's all get out. Because we don't have time for it. Go back to the crown. Have a good day. Go back to the devil, demon. That's pretty much what it's like. So, anyways, all right. Thanks for listening to this special edition, the 2 Declarations of Independence. And we will see you next week on the regular scheduled program. Thanks for listening.